Hi guys, welcome to this short video about the UBOX app. That's an app here on Android. I guess it's also available in the Apple Store. And it's used for a lot of surveillance cameras, and I've been using it for a couple of years. So I wanted to give you some information, make a short review about that, what I think about this. I think it's important to know before you buy any surveillance camera using the UBOX. I mean, the positive thing with the UBOX is that it's not a proprietary app, so you cannot only use it for one single surveillance camera or for one manufacturer. You can use it for a lot of them. I mean, not for all of the cameras, of course, but some of the manufacturers are using the UBOX app. So how is it? What can you expect? I have already tested 4 cameras which are using the UBOX, and there is a certain pattern which I wanted to show. Here again the overview. The rating is 3.6 stars. If you want, of course, you can check the reviews, but of course a lot of the reviews are related to the cameras and not related to UBOX, or not only related to UBOX. So I wanted to talk here more in general about the UBOX. We see more than 500,000 downloads. That's definitely a lot. So let's open this thing here. Here we have the overview of the cameras. I have removed already 2 of the cameras because they broke or I couldn't reconnect to them anymore. And so in general, I would say it's not a good thing. I would rather stay away from cameras which are using the UBOX. I don't know why this is, but for me almost looks like a pattern that cameras which are using the UBOX are not very reliable. A lot of them have very fancy features, some even features which I have not seen in any other camera, but when it comes to reliability, then usually the cameras using UBOX are not really good, and so I have not had any of these 4 cameras which have been very reliable. You can also see this one here was really nice camera, looked almost like a bird feeder or small birdhouse. It was absolutely awesome. It was the most compact solar surveillance camera. But you can see it's throwing just errors. Sometimes it's saying online, but even when it says online, then it's not connecting anymore. Of course, it has been sitting on the roof where, of course, it gets super hot. And so it looks like the camera has been suffering a lot, but it was also not very reliable before. So this is the only camera which is now online. That's the Semua. I've made a full review about that just recently, and it was working pretty good, but there were also some minor complaints, especially regarding lags. I've been complaining at the manufacturer, and so they replaced it, and now it's better, but it's still not perfect. You can see we still have some lags here. I can make this a little bit larger, so you can see that better. You can see, I mean, this is the current time, and so this should actually run fluently, but it's not. I have it here now since about a week, and it has been working very, very good, very reliable for most of the time, but then in a sudden it stops working reliable. Now, I didn't have any updates since almost half a minute. I don't know why this is. Now you can see it has been running a little bit, and it was not even on HD, it was only SD. I think it's not a big difference. And of course, because of the bad connection, it's also difficult to move around the camera. I mean, I've tested it now for a week, and most of the time it has been working really good, but you can see now, no matter how long I push here the camera, I mean, it's a PTZ camera, it should move around, but it's not moving around at all. It seems to be totally stuck, and that's a complaint which I had before. So it looks like also with the new camera we have same problem again. First I was thinking it's because of a slow microSD card, but now I have bought one of the fastest microSD cards and the problem is still here. So again, not really reliable. Also important to know regarding the cloud is not always free. Yeah, here when we click on the Me, we can see the overview of the cloud storage. And that was the one for the old camera. So the old subscription retired. And now I'm on the free cloud, which started just a couple of days ago. And you can see it lasts for just 1 month. And this, I think, includes a 7-day free rolling cloud. But after this 30 days trial period, you won't have any cloud anymore. There are a couple of apps which still provide some free cloud. Some say even for lifetime, but based on my experience, it's probably not going to happen. If you are really looking for some free cloud, best recommendations which I have at the moment are the Vico Home here and the Ocam. But also for the Vico Home, I got a notification now that I will run out of the free cloud like in half a year or so. If you buy a new camera for the Vico Home, maybe it will last for a year. The only app where I have free cloud with no end time, that's the Ocam. So if you are looking for a camera with free rolling cloud, then maybe the Ocam Pro is your best option. But let's go back to the Semuha PTC camera and talk about more problems. And one of the big problems is the PTC function. Now you can see the camera has been moving, so that's the good thing. Let's see if it would move again. No, it's again in lag. So because I've been pressing long, it has been then moving like in the background. Usually we should see when this is happening, but because the picture was not refreshed, I couldn't see when the camera was moving. So that's of course not the idea. Can see that also here really bad. So one of my biggest complaints here, apart from that it's not very reliable, is also that we cannot store camera angles. With a lot of PTC cameras, even battery operated PTC cameras, we can store camera angles, but that's not possible here. But of course with the Ocam you can do that, and with some other cameras. I would say with 90% of the camera apps you can do that, but not here. And this is not just a little bit of less comfort, it has a huge disadvantage. I can show you that. So now the camera is on the other side again, but I haven't seen it moving. So let's go to the settings, and that's the activity detection. And here we have the alarm area, and I've been thinking that would always be free, but it's actually not. It looks like it's just affecting the cloud recording and not the micro SD card recording, which is a workaround for the cloud, which is not free. And so that's a problem here in the activity area. So usually the idea is that we can select between the areas which we want to monitor and the areas which we want to exclude. So for example, this area here, but of course it was not pointed to the wall before. And now because the camera has been moving to the right side too much, it's off center, or actually not covering the original area anymore. I mean, I can use this control here to move around the camera, at least in theory, but it's super slow and very unreliable, even more unreliable than in the main side. And so it's almost impossible to match these areas here. And actually what you need is really a possibility to save locations, and that's not available here. And also big disadvantage for the UBOX is that this activity detection zone, now it's offline again. The settings which you set is only working for the cloud and not for the microSD card. You can see here for the cloud I don't have a lot of false alerts. With this activity zone, I can prevent pretty much all the false alerts because I can hide the trees. But when we move to the microSD card recording, we can just click here and then we see the microSD card recording. And we see, first thing we see that it's super slow, unreliable. Yeah, so I've pointed the camera down to prevent any false alerts. So I hope now I can switch to the microSD card footage because it's probably not recording anymore. So finally, after a couple of minutes, it has been loading, and you can see we have false alerts. What we also see are these very long recordings. Even though I have set the maximum recording time to 10 seconds, it seems that this setting is also not respected in the microSD card. Here we have 12 seconds, we have a whopping 140 seconds just for nothing. There was just nothing, just false alerts. You can see over and over, just false alert after false alert. And this is because it seems it's not respecting the alert area. You can see it has been recording, wasting microSD card space, and especially also, of course, battery juice. It's absolutely crazy. And every time when I start the app, it is recording a 140 seconds clip just for nothing. One like that. Can see sometimes it says user wake up, sometimes it's called activity detection, but it looks like I can't avoid that, and this is also usually totally messing up with the performance of the camera. Not always, but a lot. So if you're not ready to pay for an expensive subscription, it could be pretty hard to use this camera after that, unless you have a super clean area without any trees, no false alert, nothing. I mean, again, it was working for about a week, but now again, it starts having problems again. So again, bottom line for me is that all the cameras which I've tested using the UBOX app have not been working reliable, at least not for longer time. Two of them I had to dump totally because I couldn't reset them anymore. One is more or less hardware damage, and this one here is working pretty much with itself and not working for me. So I highly recommend to stay away from any camera which is using this app. So rather go and buy a camera which is using the Vico Home or the Ocam Pro. These are my recommendations at the moment, and so I hope I've been able to help you a little bit with this video. If you have any questions or comments or better suggestions, if you have found the perfect surveillance camera app with endless free cloud perfect functions, then just let us know down in the feedback area. I'm always happy to talk about these things, and if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.